Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Me again, Shannon Fox here, Devoted Patriots 2 channel. And we got a few things to talk about today. I'm talking about the Antifa organization, otherwise known as George Soros funded organization. It's starting to get a good looking over through investigations that are currently going on. And we're going to find out who all was involved in not just assassinations and assassination attempts, but these organized violent protests that obviously have been paid for in advance by somebody. I'm thinking mostly George Soros, Barack Obama types. But we're going to get into that. More than that, all this stuff is going to be gotten into. It's going to be investigated. People are going to be indicted. They're looking into bank records as we speak. Matter of fact, let's listen to Secretary Bessent describe what's fixing to happen between the IRS and the Open Society Foundation involving all this political domestic violence that is being paid for by these cretins. All right, here we go. So Secretary Bessent revealed just what all the IRS is looking at in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. It's not looking good for those who deny the existence of the far left groups like Antifa. We are going to, as we always say, follow the money. When you see these groups where all the signs match, they have hundreds of the same umbrellas, lasers they're using to blind our police force. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of organization. The shields, the helmets, all the equipment. Somebody's paying for it. These blue-haired drug addicts can't afford that stuff on their own, I'm sure. Most of them probably don't have jobs. They probably play video games with all their free time when they're not spewing hate on the internet. It says the IRS has started an investigation and started to compile lists and put together networks. There is a long record here. We are not going to be deterred. It's going to get done. We are going to investigate the problem. And not just investigate the problem, but handle up on the problem. Scott Bessent was on the Charlie Kirk show, and he had this to say. I thought it was absolutely necessary.
I want to play a clip here that's really important because you're working on a very important piece of this, and I wish we had more time for this, so let's just get right into it. 1:36.
Let me tell you something I've not shared with anybody, but the last message that Charlie Kirk gave to me before he joined his creator in heaven was he said that we have to dismantle and take on the radical left organizations in this country that are fomenting violence. That was the last message that he sent me before that assassin stole him from all of us.
So that is a powerful clip. Stephen Miller said something similar when JD hosted the show on the Monday after he was assassinated. And Treasury, I come to find out, coming to D.C., that Treasury has taken an active role in an aspect of this dismantling of the financial networks that are supporting some of these radical left violent groups. Share with what you can. I know it's an ongoing process.
So it's an ongoing process, and I will tell you that after 9/11, Treasury became the driving force behind tracking down the networks of terrorist organizations, how they were financed, how could this have happened on U.S. soil with these international terrorist organizations? Where did the money come from? Who were the ultimate funders? And that was on the international side. And Andrew, I will tell you that Charlie's death is like a domestic 9/11, that we are going to find. It has alerted us to what Charlie knew, that these organizations are working within our borders. And look, we believe people have a right to free speech. They have a right to organize. They have a right to protest, but they have to do it peacefully. They cannot embrace violence, and we have seen it. We've seen it since the terrible day 2 years ago, the anti-Semitism and the bias that came out after October 7th, 2023. And many of these organizations have been financed by nonprofits, and it's going to stop. And we are going to, as they always say, follow the money. When you see these groups where all the signs match. They have hundreds of the same umbrellas that they're using. After they cause the mayhem, they have the same lasers that they're using to blind our police force. How are they constructed? Because this takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of organization, and we are going to do that. We have started to compile lists, put together networks, and there's a long record here. And we don't know how much of the support's coming in from overseas. We don't know how much being supported by U.S. nonprofits, C3s that give money to C4s. But this is mission critical for us now. Just as after 9/11 and Osama bin Laden, the ultimate culprit, was captured, we are operationalizing this here at Treasury, and we are going to track down who is responsible for this. So Charlie's death has set this off, and we are determined not only to honor him, but to keep our country safe and to ensure freedom of speech on both sides.
Y'all hear that, folks? Due to what happened to Charlie, it's lit a fire under the government's ass, thank God, to actually do something about this domestic terrorist problem that we've had brewing in this country ever since Barack Obama showed up on day one about 20 years ago. Truth be known, I'm glad to see it's finally being addressed at the least. And I don't want these folks to just go to jail for their protest. I want these people to go to jail for their political violence and their inability to get charged for the violence they put on our streets in America. I would love to see video footage be drawn back up from protests that happened years ago all the way up to what happened yesterday, because there's video footage out there of Antifa smashing and getting smashed every single day in several cities. And so when we catch these people on film doing violent acts like destroying property or attacking civilians, citizens, or protecting the drag shows, we need to put them on notice. Matter of fact, if you see your local Antifa in your town, wouldn't be a bad idea to find out where they're congregating, where they're hanging out, who they're affiliated with, and let us know over here on X, and we'll send a tweet directly to Cash Patel, get them headed in that direction. That's what needs to happen. We need actually community activism to stomp out this BS going on our streets. Now, I've never seen an Antifa activist here in Waco, but I bet if I went to Austin or Dallas, there are probably plenty over there, especially every chance they get to come outside and protest something. This week, I don't know what they got to protest, considering Trump just stopped another war, or at least did his part to try to create peace in the Middle East. So the Gaza wing, or the pro-terrorist wing of the Democrat Party this week, really doesn't know how to act, considering that they're kind of don't want to praise Trump, but in reality, they wanted this war to end. Now it looks like the war is going to end, but I hear not much praise for Trump at this point. But it's not about the praise, it's about the fact that Trump's getting stuff done, and he's doing such a great job at it, the left can't even deny it. But I do believe that these Antifa types, these George Soros types, these Barack Obama pushing weaponization of the government through his three-lettered agencies that he controlled for the most part of the last 20 years, all these folks need to be held accountable. And I'm not talking about a slap on the wrist. I'm talking about giving them some real time. And I think it is coming. It may be, I think 2025 is the year of exposure. And 2026 is the year of indictments and prosecutions. Got to get some prosecutions coming on with them indictments. I want to see a lot of these folks get some real time. There is a lot of people that have been involved in our government for years and years and have got rich on the lies that they spew. And I'm not talking about just the media. I'm talking about people like this clown right here, Barack Obama. Now, he had an interview, I guess it was yesterday. I listened to a good part of it. He's just frustrated that Trump come in and reversed everything that he's done, stole his mojo in so many words. And ever since then, Barack Obama's been an irrelevant has-been, and he just hates it So here he is whining again on another podcast about what he should have done differently.
I mean, what was unusual for me was obviously a lot of what I represented.
Yeah.
A lot of what Michelle and I had tried to project, the values, our thinking about America.
Yeah, we heard about your projection. We know what you tried to do to the kids in the schools with them prudy colors.
You know, my successor seemed to represent the opposite.
Right.
Not seemed, did.
Yeah.
And so I think there was a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, some fear among a big chunk of the country. And I mean, what was unusual for me was...
So people are big mad that Obama policies ain't running the show anymore. I think most of the country is not big mad. Maybe Big Mike and Little Barry are big mad, but other than that, not too many people. Just some crazy lefties out there that don't appreciate what Trump is doing, not just for our country, but to bring peace to the entire world. Now Trump is with Erica. Trump was with Erica Kirk this afternoon. They are awarding Charlie a wonderful medal, and on his birthday of all days, today is Charlie Kirk's 32nd birthday, having a wondrous event at the White House. You're welcome to go watch it. It's live streaming as we speak. But I just want to let y'all know that it's not just a lovely ceremony, and it's not just Charlie Kirk's birthday, and it's not just a medal he was given. This is a turning point in our country. Literally a turning point. We're going to go after Antifa. We're going to go after George Soros. We're going to go after the corruption. We're going to expose the violence and start arresting them for the rhetoric. This shooting of Charlie Kirk, this attempted assassination of Trump, all this rhetoric coming from the top of the Democrat political party that foments violence, the media promoting it, all this is coming to a head, and I think Charlie getting shot just expedited the whole situation, and now I think we're actually going to get some action done when it comes to taking care of the problem. We need to take care of this business, including taking piece of shit Barack Obama out of the picture. His ass needed to go to jail. Just my opinion. But.
Yeah, we don't want kangaroo courts and trumped up charges. That's what happens in other places that we used to scold for doing that.
Did he forget already about the January 6th prosecutions of all those people with the kangaroo courts, with the corrupt judges and the won't help you lawyers that basically railroaded these more than 1,000 people into spending several years of their life incarcerated? That's not kangaroo court. That's not selective prosecution. Come on, man.
We want our court system and our Justice Department and our prosecutors to be, and our FBI to be, just playing things straight and looking at the facts and not meddling in politics the way we've seen later.
That is really rich coming from the guy that weaponized the government on a lie called the Russia collusion hoax against his political opposition that done beat Hillary, which was his stand-in. We see you, Barack. We see you.
Lately. And I think if enough people start not just being in a fetal position, but also not worrying about it and detached from it, but being vigilant, but also saying, you know what,
enough of this shit.
We can stand up to this. We can call it like we see it.
Yeah.
We need people who have whatever platforms they have to be able to say, no, that's not who we are, and to be willing to get attacked on X by whoever for doing that. And it's not easy. Yeah.
You notice how he talks so vaguely when it comes to most conversations. It could be interpreted more than one way. He does this for controversial sake, but he talks out the side of his mouth is the way I've always heard it. Can't believe a word he says because he's always trying to cater to everybody listening. That way he's never the bad guy while he's steadily pointing his finger at somebody. I know those type. We're done with listening to Barack Obama today. I cannot stand that guy. I can only listen to just a short amount of his baloney. But truth be known, folks, Mike Davis is one of my favorite people to listen to. He has the Article 3 Project. Him and Matt Taibbi, who is a great reporter as well, are both on the Maria Bartiromo show yesterday, or should I say Sunday. And they said some things that I really, really needed to hear. And we'll go ahead and make this last video of the day because nothing tops this. This is absolutely what we need to hear. Not just what we need to hear, but what we need to know is coming down the pike. That way we'll have faith a little longer while we wait on these F around and find out options for all these cretin criminals.
Tracked, and he said it happened to him 3 times. Mike, is all of this connected? We've been covering, obviously, the Russia collusion lie for a decade, and that my viewers are well aware that it was fake from day one. But do you think that this is all connected, and is this enough to create a conspiracy charge against Jim Comey and his friends who were part of that cabal?
Yeah, those indictments we just saw for Comey and Tish James are the appetizer indictments. And the big one, the main course, is going to be the conspiracy against rights under 18 USC Section 241. I've publicly called for this for the last 3+ years since the Mar-a-Lago raid. Remember this with the Russian collusion hoax. The Democrats made this up to help Hillary Clinton's campaign, to cover up her corruption, and to take out presidential candidate Donald Trump. They failed. President Trump went into office, and so they tried to destroy him while he was in office, and they tried to destroy him with the lawfare because he declassified Crossfire Hurricane before he left office the first time.
And you believe that the Mar-a-Lago raid was also part of it. They were actually looking for the assessment of Russia's influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential election. It was declassified. I have it right here. Do you believe that's what they were looking for?
1,000%. And those people who did this raid, like Jay Bratz and others, they did this to cover up their own corruption. This is the biggest scandal in American history. They politicized and weaponized intel agencies and law enforcement to take out their political enemy. This is third world stuff. And I would say to these lawfare Democrats, justice is definitely coming.
Matt, this is all pretty extraordinary.
It is, but again, I think we're now finally seeing the proper perspective on it. I agree with Mr. Davis. This is an enormous story. It should have been an enormous story at the time. It's just that we're finally realizing how serious it was to conduct surveillance of these people and to, manufacture intelligence, against a domestic political enemy.
I want to get your take on who you think is next to face indictment. Stay with us, Mike Davis and Matt Taibbi. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm with Matt Taibbi as well as Mike Davis. And I want to get your take on who you believe is next in terms of indictments to come. Matt Taibbi, what do you think?
Well, I think some of the releases that came out of the Director of National Intelligence's office earlier this year from Tulsi Gabbard and from the DOJ point to some of those former intelligence chiefs like John Brennan, James Clapper, for instance. I was also told repeatedly that Hillary Clinton was a target of some of these investigations, although nobody could tell me exactly what crime she was being investigated for, but that she was a target. So I think you should look at the Russiagate actors who are in those documents, and then probably also some of the other executive branch folks.
Mike, how far up the chain does this go?
I think it goes all the way up to the top, to President Obama, to Vice President Biden, to Hillary Clinton, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, so many players within the Obama and Biden administration. And I think it also includes the lawfare Democrats, these prosecutors who coordinated with the Biden White House to bring these indictments against President Trump.
And there's also a grand jury being prepared right now, right?
There is a grand jury being conjured up right now over several things. He's talking about Jack Smith and Tanya Chutkin and Fannie Willis and Jay Bratt and Letitia James, all these folks that were sent marching orders from the Department of Justice and Merrick Garland to go after Trump. These folks are in trouble. But also members of the executive branch. I'm talking about Anthony Blinken, Mayorkas, Merrick Garland. These folks, Ron Klain, a lot of these folks are probably going to be put under the gun too for conspiracy to defraud Trump of his rights as a citizen. For all those things that they have done, the way they have treated him, it is going to be easy to prove, considering these folks got on TV, got on the internet, got on podcasts, and lied for years. And they knew it was a lie when Barack Obama pulled him in that first meeting back in 2015, before Trump was even in the Oval Office. They were already colluding against him, and we got the dirt on them, folks. It's just a matter of getting these folks prosecuted. I hope and I pray that Pam Bondi gets the right people in the right position in the Eastern District of Virginia and in the Southern District of New York and in Washington, D.C. to do some real prosecutions of all these folks that are in need of being prosecuted, in need of being incarcerated, paid back, made to serve justice, retribution, revenge, however you want to label it, needs to happen ASAP. The American people are tired of waiting on the ball to drop. A couple indictments here and there is not near enough. 6 months into Trump's presidency, he had already had 6 or 7 of his cabinet members investigated, indicted, and some of them already locked up. We're 6 months in, and we've only seen 2 indictments. That's it. So the Republicans, maybe they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's for a full throw the book at them investigation. I hope so. But it's either crap or get off the pot at this point, because we are tired of waiting. We're trying to be patient. We're praying for patience. But in reality, just like Mike Davis, Matt Taibbi, and all of us, we want justice. We believe it's coming. We just want it sooner than later. That's what I got for you today, folks. Hopefully everybody's having a great day. Antifa, George Soros, and the whole lot of them are hopefully going to have a bad day as well before long, when these investigations actually start indicting these blue-haired freaks. Over and out, folks. Have a good one.